Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing great today. Balgar here, and we continue our series of One Legion. Today playing the Chaos Legion with Ingethel and a Demon build. Now, here are the two games I'm going to present you. Here's the list that we'll be using. I'm not sure whether it's the best approach to Ingethel, but maybe it's one of the less worst one, if I dare say. Well, anyway, that's what we're going to be using. So, here we are using this reduced maintenance of friendly demons by 2. We won't be playing that much on the marks. We really want to use as many great demons as we can. And when I say great, I mean good demons. Because all of the greater demons are not that great actually. I think only Iria and Tilath made the cut for the list. But we're also using Beast of Fear, who holds quite a punch, and the Terrorons, because they're frontline and because they also hold quite a punch. Since they only have maintenance 2, they are basically free. So, what else do we have? We have the Priest of the Old Faith. It's a good target for Mark of Chaos because of the Duplicitous, and its effect of reducing demon costs is nice, so I kinda wanted to give this a shot. And then we have most of the good neutral cards: Jubak Starsight, Keizudan, Melgator, and Ekatres. We could definitely put in Lord Martial instead of the Spy Alpha. I kinda like the Spy Alpha, to be honest, and Lord Martial, it's not like we had that much to accelerate into, but it's probably something, a good opportunity to play. 2 Drilling Sites, 1 Letitio, 2 Abundant Supplies. Of course, we want to draw these Drilling Sites with our Abundant Supplies. The Scouts, they're still excellent targets for marks, and the Nurglings because, well, they're maintenance 3. 3, not 3, sorry. And also the Synergized Verbal with the new Demon card stack. So what's nice about this deck is we do play a couple of new cards, the Priest and the Kazdrak, and also some older cards that we are not that used to see, such as Tilath. So it's kinda nice. Also Urtse, because we have absolutely no hard removal since we are neutral faction, so I really like Urtse in most neutral decks. But alright, I completely forgot to give this girl a nice name, so she'll just be Ingethel. And yep, let's jump into the games. So the first one I picked for you was against Mandragorax, and I was feeling like this would be an interesting game to show because Mandragorax is firstly another warlord you see every day, and secondly it's a warlord that's usually good at getting rid of the ball, and that's what all day tries to do basically. So here I decided to get rid of my entire hand because I have no troop to play my Marks of Chaos on. Without anything, it's hard to keep Drilling Sight. So this one is much better. I was really hoping for the Nurglings because they can tank this dude's hero power. So I don't play the Scouts because they will just take 2 this turn and I take 2 the other turn and die like idiots. There is only a 1 in 2 chance that I could actually get a defensive Mark of Chaos, which are Tzinch or Nurgle, for this dude to survive another turn. So I just decided to go with the Nurglings, and that is good. He does play Keizudan, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's an okay card for sure. So now I can play the Scouts and buff them in the same terms, so what would I bother not to? I decided not to attack because otherwise he could just send his Zudan here and then use his warlord ability. And then use it again. So I'm like, okay, these Nurglings don't need to get the damage done now. My Kazdrak will only be available on 5 energy, so I don't need to rush it. Okay, no, now this thing has 5 HP, so I can swing with it. And I'm like, okay, if he plays Devsat, for example, or just use his warlord ability, this thing has a good chance of surviving on 1 health, and so I can use it with the Kazdrak quite after. So he does have the death set. Quite the good roll for him. Dealing 3 here, so he can finish it with his face. 3 on the Nurgling, and 3 on the Terror. I can't remember how much he dealt to my face. I have this nice top deck, so I'll just play it. And I will also play the Nurglings just because they can tank my opponent's hero power. They're a huge pain to him, so why not just play them? Crucial Choice comes in play, and so far he hasn't used his Zudan ability even once. We see another belt, which is really surprising to me because I'm not entirely sure why he would run belts in a Mandragora deck. But why not? Maybe he wants to accelerate towards, say, Orbital Bombardment, for example. And since his entire deck's purpose is mainly just play burn cards that burn your opponent down, it actually kinda makes sense to run the belts just so that you have more energy. It's very risky because if you draw them later on, they are basically dead cards and you can't really afford that as Mandragorex, but when both come so early, it should be pretty good. So here I keep on with pressure with my marks. I play the Jubak too, just because having stealing his card is good, of course. And there I was lucky enough to have another mark amongst my 3 marks. So both of these wolves get poisoned. And that's very good for us, because they die right away and I don't have to... I mean, I had the Nurglings for one, maybe the Crack Grenade for the other, but I'm happy that I can just afford to not do it. So I want to maximize my hero power, just because it's adding more HP onto the board, and HP is basically what is refraining him from killing us. So I really don't mind keeping those abundant supplies for later on. I go face with the Jubak. If it dies, it's just gonna buff my board with the demon. Fortunately, the demon gets bounced back into my hand. Now he plays this, and this is also one of the reasons why I don't think Zulin is that great. Like, he pulled off 1 or 2 tactics in this game, and yeah. Also here, a very interesting idea for him would have been to just hit the Nurglings with his Jubak, and then he reuses his Warlord ability so that he makes sure that our Jubak dies. So when I say I meant Zulin attacks the Nurgling and then he presses hero power. But he decides not to do that. He takes a risky play, which kinda makes sense too, because he's in big trouble here, and when you're behind you need to take risks. So he doesn't do it, and I go face once more. Well, just because I have this beautiful Planetary Purge and Crack Grenade. He doesn't get rid of that Jubak Starsight early on, so he just gave us all the burn he plays in his deck. So I guess Mandragora's deck is most of the time built almost only on very good neutral legendaries and probably best cards. So it really makes sense that we actually stole some. Okay, I'm gonna speed up things a bit, just because you can see I have 2, 3, 7, 9. So I have lethal here. And dead by the Nurglings. Just imagine Nurglings climbing all the way into a Warhorn Titan and screwing up its pilot. Blah, it's weird. I don't even know how that's feasible. But that's what happened anyway. We won with the Nurgling. Okay, so that was the first game, and it kind of illustrates how good our deck is at taking the board control. Despite the death set, despite Mandragora's ability, we can go over all of that and just seize the board when we can. Of course, it won't be always the case, so now, up for the real challenge, we are now facing the true and one master of taking control of the board. So, that's my mulligan. I'm kinda happy I have the scouts. Maybe I could have kept the infants, actually. I'm not that excited about Greater Demons, because they're just gonna get incapacitated with the Serpent Fangs. I mean, 3/3 that key is incapacitated, basically. Or maybe just rush down by the 4/4 with the Nick Attack, and they will become 5/5s with the Strategic Reserve, which he definitely has. So I wasn't that much excited about trying to make a Greater Demon, and also there is the Steel Talon Hawk, which can just jam our troop before we reach the critical 4 marks of Chaos. Okay, here I decide to attack with that, because my thinking is that what if he really wants to do 3 points of damage into it? He won't have any issue doing that. Also attack with this dude, because I think he's gonna swing into the 1/1. And if he swings there, it means he has a 4/4 and he wants to poison it. It's fine. Actually, if I had any other marks than the Nurgle one, I would probably would have kept it concealed. But here, I'm fine with that, you know. Okay, so I start with the mark here, because my intention is just to swing that thing here, and so it will it will be poisoned basically, so I don't need to put any more on it. But luckily I top deck Temptation, and that allows me to get this guy to at least 2 points of attack, even 3 because we got the corn mark, sorry, and not the cornflakes. And so we have 6 points of damage, and we calculate that drawback with our Cornish goats. Blood for the blood god, milk for the cornflakes, you know that. Okay, so now that's a smart use of drawback, I think. Oh, the drawback, I keep on taking one for another, but I really like using Zulan for that. When the battle is about controlling the board, you really shouldn't mind using your Zulan to actually take control of the board, you know? So, yeah, it's a good turn for Kazdrak. Firstly, it's uncurved, there is no maintenance, so there is actually no reason. It's just basically a 6/6 that will give +2 attack to my other troop. So, yeah, very good card of all, especially in this situation. So let's see what he does here. He has that nice 2/4, and this is exactly what I was afraid of. So this is not Serpent Fang, just Ice Serpents. But at least he takes 6 to the face. I have still an 8/5 on the board. This is not that huge. Well, because I think he still has a troop. No, he has no troops left that were buffed by Strategic Reserve. I kind of think it was only Drewback and Zulan. Alright, so let me just pause for a second. I have the Terror Hounds, and I could have Terror Watchers in the Dark and Terror Hound, but then I'm really weak to the call. And since I already have something above 4 attack, I'm already weak to the 4/4 with rush. With flank, sorry. So I don't mind putting another troop with more than 4 points of attack. I would say it will be kind of a dead card. Wolfclaw is not the worst tactic we could have pulled actually. I don't mind it. He decides not to take the 9 points of damage, which I kinda understand. I'm not sure if I agree or not, but that's what he decided to do. So now I go for the claw, just because I can kill that thing. Since he only healed for 2, I'm pretty sure that he has the cut in hand. I still decide to deal 10 points of damage to him. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have said, well, just use the Great Tithe if you have it now, and then we'll see. But now I allow him to clear my entire board. He's still on 3 energies, so he still can play something very painful. Fortunately for me, this is not painful. But I can still get rid of my thing. This is still 3/3, you know, so it's not that... I'm not feeling that comfortable here. I go with abundant supplies. I always hate giving another card to Ginger Crawl. I kind of want to start pumping out some values out of my Nurglings, and also out of my Chaos Marks, so I really don't mind doing that. But also I can E-Rest straight away, but I was really afraid of these 4/4s with Rush. With Flank, not gonna make it. So, now this is the Blade. Well, it was kinda expected in a way. He's halfway through his deck. Quick Choice comes in 2. I'm hoping this is not something too painful. But I mean, pretty much anything is painful. Like, any kind of Jeer will be a pain. And any kind of burst like Contrador, Vengeful Spirits, Macrag's Honor, or Part of the Emperor, all of those are very deadly to us. So I go with the Network, just because it allows me to clean that 4/1 with my Nurglings. I think I kinda take the 4 to the face. Well, you know, just because I really want the board control. I'm expecting him to play the Great Tithe here, so I really don't mind attacking with this. Again, if he wants to swing something into it, I'm in trouble. And now I'm actually in trouble, because these White Asps completely reverse the entire game, actually. So I was good, and all of a sudden he just played for 10 energies of good troops. And it's almost game over at that point. I'm trying to see what I can do with this. Mark of Chaos, of course, I mean, any mark would have been fine. So now my only hope left is that I can just I can just somehow survive this turn and then snowball thanks to the Chaos Drag. But there is very little chance of that to happen. And so, does he have something to do? The last points of damage, there are still the Great Tithe and the Cull, and he has the Great Tithe. So yeah, we ended up losing that game, but I felt like giving this much difficulty to a Jinja roll is not something you can do with every deck. So, I mean, the deck kind of passed his test actually. I'm kind of happy with it. So obviously I'm not that happy about the list overall. Well, I did lose a couple games, especially this one. Like, he just often just play a Tribune and I was helpless. I just lost. Again, in this matchup, I just ran out of steam, so yeah, the deck can also struggle against hard control. It's not that hard to deal with everything we play against a control deck. I mean, for a control deck, it's not that hard to get rid of everything we play. She simply had these 2 hard removals for the 2 great demons we play. So that was no issue for him. On Days Exodus, we just murdered him. He did nothing, so that wasn't the game I wanted to show you guys. So I thank you all for watching this one. Let me mention quickly that tomorrow we will be playing as Alpha Legion. So you can make a choice in the comment for where is the Alpha Legionary. He's everywhere. So you can choose either for Alpha Legionary or Alpha Legionary or Alpha Legionary, or lastly, if you like, for Alpha Legionary. So yeah, make a choice in the comments between these 4 totally different warlords, and none of those are actually Alpharius. Yeah, I'll see what I do with that. Thank you guys, take care, bye.